In the quaint town of Sweetridge, famous for its annual Great Golden Bake-Off, an unsettling quiet had fallen over the sugar plum patisserie. The pastry shop, usually filled with the comforting aroma of baking bread and sweet treats, was eerily silent, save for the sound of a lone whisk clinking against an empty bowl. Detective Marla Crumb, known for her insatiable appetite for both pastries and puzzles, stood amidst the chaos of the kitchen. Her keen eyes scanned over overturned sacks of flour and splatters of exotic fruit purees that painted the walls in vibrant streaks. The question is not just where the missing pastry chef has gone, but why, Marla mused aloud, her gaze stopping on a series of peculiar footprints made of powdered sugar leading to the pantry. They ended abruptly, as if the chef had vanished into thin air. The patrons of Sweetridge whispered of a secret recipe so perfect that it granted its baker unmatched culinary acclaim. Marla chuckled at such tales, but as she perused the kitchen for clues, she couldn't help but notice the chef's recipe book was missing a page. With her trusty notepad in hand, Marla began to jot down her observations. She knew the solution to the puzzle would be found within the sticky confines of this kitchen. She just needed to piece together the ingredients of this perplexing mystery. Marla's investigation led her to the heart of Sweetridge's bustling market, where whispers of the missing chef swirled like the steam from the morning's fresh coffee. Here, among the stalls brimming with sugary confections and spices, Marla hoped to uncover leads. Her first stop was the booth of Madame Chou, a rival baker whose eclairs were almost as sharp as her tongue. "A recipe that makes a chef disappear," Madame Chou scoffed, dusting flour off her apron. "Pure poppycock, but if he had such a thing, I'd have known." Undeterred, Marla meandered through the market, her attention captured by a display of golden honey-glazed pastries, each shaped like a clue from classic mysteries: a magnifying glass, a lock, and a key. The stall's owner, a young apprentice baker named Theo, had eyes that sparkled with mischief. "They say the chef found an ancient sugar sculpture in his travels, one that held secrets to transcendent tastes," Theo whispered, leaning in close. Maybe that's what he was after. As the sun dipped low, casting amber hues over the cobblestones, Marla pondered Theo's words. The image of an ancient sugar sculpture seemed far-fetched, but in Sweetridge, where pastries were the lifeblood, anything that promised culinary greatness was worth disappearing for. The legend of the sugar sculpture consumed Marla's thoughts as she stepped into the Sweetridge Library, a repository of the town's culinary history. The building, a Victorian relic, was a feast for the senses, with the scent of aged paper mingling with the faint aroma of vanilla extract from the nearby patisseries. With each tome she dusted off, Marla found references to the Confectioner's Codex, a tome rumored to contain the lost arts of dessert alchemy. Yet the librarian, a stoic woman named Mrs. Pip, insisted no such book existed within their walls. As Marla studied the library's old maps and recipe books, a hidden drawer in a carven oak desk caught her eye. Inside, a single delicate sugar petal lay preserved, its craftsmanship unlike anything she had seen. Was this a piece of the fabled sculpture? Her discovery was interrupted by the entrance of an enigmatic figure, a culinary historian named Dr. Sweets. With a knowing smile, he remarked, "The Codex is more than myth, Detective Crumb, and perhaps our missing chef found that out the hard way." Night fell over Sweetridge as Marla and Dr. Sweets conversed under the glow of gaslight lamps, theories intertwining like braided pastry dough. The sugar petal wasn't just a clue, it was a promise of secrets hidden in Sweetridge's sugary heart. The Sweetridge Library's clock tower chimed midnight, as Marla and Dr. Sweets pored over an ancient, unmarked culinary map spread across a mahogany table. The paper yellowed with age, but the illustrations of Sweetridge's streets still vibrant. Each street was marked not with names, but with symbols resembling those on Theo's pastries. Marla's eyes flicked between the map and the sugar petal, a realization dawning. The map was a guide, and the petal was the key to deciphering it. Dr. Sweets, a flicker of excitement in his eyes, pointed to a symbol hidden in the corner of the map, a symbol matching the design of the sugar petal. "It marks the location of the Confectioner's Guildhall," he whispered, "a place of legend said to house the Codex." With the map as their guide, they navigated Sweetridge's cobblestone streets under the cloak of night, each step bringing them closer to unraveling the town's sweetest secrets. They stood before an ancient ivy-covered facade, the symbol from the map etched above the arched doorway. Pushing the heavy door open, they were met with the scent of caramel and spice, and before them lay the grand Guildhall, untouched by time. promising revelations and dangers within its sugar-spun walls. Inside the Guildhall, Marla and Dr. Sweets were surrounded by confectionery wonders. A chocolate fountain murmured in the corner, candied fruits glistened on marble countertops, and the air was thick with the aroma of baking bread. The heart of the room was dominated by a pedestal on which rested the Codex, a tome bound in what appeared to be fine white chocolate, its pages filled with the most intricate sugarcraft techniques, some thought lost to time. As Marla turned the pages, the room seemed to respond. The chocolate fountain's flow became steady, the candied fruits shone brighter, and a hidden melody played, as if the Guildhall itself was coming to life. Dr. Sweets was scribbling notes frantically, his eyes wide with the realization that they were uncovering recipes that could revolutionize the culinary arts, not just for Sweetridge, but for the world. With the Codex in her hands, Marla felt a profound connection to the generations of confectioners before her, and she knew that with this knowledge, she could elevate her craft to heights unimaginable, creating pastries not merely for taste, but for enchantment. As Marla Crumb and Dr. Sweets delve deeper into the ancient Codex, they uncover a recipe that is said to bring prosperity and harmony to those who taste it. Realizing the importance of this discovery, they decide to recreate the legendary dessert for the town's upcoming centennial celebration. Working tirelessly, Marla combines her detective skills with her baking prowess, deciphering the cryptic instructions with Dr. Sweet's help. The kitchen is abuzz with activity as they mix exotic ingredients, some of which Marla had only ever heard of in whispers within the Guildhall. On the day of the celebration, they present a magnificent pastry that seems to glow with its own inner light. The townsfolk gather around, mesmerized by the dessert's allure. With the first bite, a wave of joy and contentment washes over the crowd. Old feuds are forgotten, laughter fills the air, and Sweetridge is united as never before. In the midst of the festivities, Marla catches a glimpse of the apprentice, Theo, his earlier mischief replaced by genuine admiration for Marla's talents. It becomes clear that he was the one who led her to the Codex, believing she was the key to reviving the town's joy through the ancient art of sugarcraft. As the celebration continues into the night, Marla and Dr. Sweets exchange a look of accomplishment. They didn't just solve the case, they rekindled a tradition that brought an entire community together. And perhaps, they muse, that was the real secret hidden within the pages of the Codex all along. Marla decides to take a well-deserved break from detective work to study the Codex further, knowing that Sweetridge's culinary history is far richer than she ever imagined. With the apprentice Theo by her side, they embark on a journey to preserve the town's heritage, one recipe at a time. Marla smiling to herself, the Codex tucked under her arm as she steps out of the Guildhall. Sweetridge, once just a spot on the map, had become her home, a place where magic, mystery, and the sweet scent of baked goods would always linger in the air.